Mic's on, everything is recording, hopefully. Right. So just refreshing whatever our previous state was. We have completed CSS building
Basics,
a cafe menu. So if we go to the last step, what all do you recall from this? Headings.
Yeah.
You set a font. For this also you set a font. Do you remember how you made this centered?
Yeah, of course.
Right. Then what is this red thing?
It's horizontal HR.
HR, right?
Yeah.
Coffee, and then
H2.
we put an image.
Yeah.
And afterwards we tried putting 3 of them and we experimented with that, right? Then along with that, this image, remember, we could either put space for this on the top or put space for this on the bottom. For coffee on the bottom you could have added margin or whatnot, or for this you could have added padding on top or whatever. Yeah. Right? So either way you can do it. So how do you manage the space? What are the things in that box diagram, CSS box diagram? Margin, padding, border.
Oh,
box model, CSS box model.
Yeah. You got first you have padding, border, and margin. Yeah.
Right. And you know how the boxes spacing is done, right? Then again for this we did some stuff with
color, to highlight.
Yeah, when and those different states of hover and whatnot. Okay. So anyway, just a quick refresher for that. You can close this. Now you have got 2 ticks Syed in your this one. Right. See here they have box model. They have something. Okay, we will come to all of this. Right. I'm actually interested in seeing what they do in this box model. Oh, this is what you do. Okay, we'll learn a lot of spacing and stuff here. Anyway, now we have to start off with
third chapter,
CSS colors. Okay.
Yeah, we start timing.
We're starting now. You wanted 40 minutes, right?
Yeah.
You want to do 40 and 15 or what?
40 maybe and 30 or depend.
Okay, fine. No problem. So now we can start. Okay, we have a new timer here.
Yep.
Fancy, huh?
Yes.
Anyway, we can close that. We can close that. Now we just have one single tab. Anyway, we can get started. So select the correct colors for your web page. Selecting the correct colors for your web page can greatly improve the aesthetic appeal to your readers. In this course, you will build a set of color markers. You will learn different ways to set color values and how to pair colors with each other.
Yeah.
Okay. So this color, this one, you ever think of a website, you look at a website and you say, hey, that's a nice color combination, right?
True.
So you get a different set of color palettes. You see this?
Yeah.
We'll just visit this site. Okay. These guys are giving you samples. So in this, you see this color palette that they're giving?
Yeah.
So these are probably the colors that you'll probably use throughout the site, right? This also will be your base color, your primary color, a secondary color and stuff like that. So there are color palettes that go well with each other, right? You can have contrasting stuff. You can have earthy, whatever tones, reds and greens and whatnot. So everything is sort of like a color palette types, right? So if you look, you don't have to sort of sit and test out random colors. You can look up for something like
website.
Yeah, you can look for suggestions online.
Yeah.
You search for flat colors. Palettes is, let us say, one website. These are all color combinations.
Okay.
Right, so you can all pick up one shade from here. Right. So in this, if you go here and you click copy, it will copy that code. You see this number here that comes up?
Yeah.
So that is the code of the color. We will look at how those codes work. You see there are different formats here. Hex, RGB and all that kind of stuff, right? So let us see what else is there. material color. Material, we were talking about how Google has its own colors, right?
Yeah.
These are material UIs, Google's official color palette. Right? These are the only shades that you will see throughout Google sites.
Yeah.
Right? Flat UI, material, these are all the shades and their variations. Right? Social colors, whatever. Okay. Then what else do you have? Right? Just interesting to go explore variations of shades and whatnot, right? If you're looking for inspiration or something like that, see how all the shades move around from top to bottom, right? Anyway, fine. Start coding. As you've seen in the previous projects, web pages should start with a doc type HTML declaration followed by an HTML element. Add a doc type HTML declaration on top of the element, on top of the document, and an HTML element after that. Should doc type be in a tag? How does it look?
What is that? Exclamation.
How do you?
No.
Yeah, how does it look?
You put exclamation.
Okay.
And then you open your tag, exclamation, doc type.
Yeah, but does it go inside a tag? Yeah, it goes inside a tag, right?
Yeah.
This. Okay.
No.
Got it. I forgot what it looks like.
Oh, okay.
Exclamation DOCTYPE. Close it and then HTML tag. You should indicate a space after the doc type reference. Oh, doc type space HTML, right? I forgot HTML. What does the doc type close look like? Oh, there is no closing type.
No.
Okay. Sorry. All good. Every day we learn something new, no Sayed.
Sure.
Nest a head element within the HTML element. Just after the edge element, add a body element. Head. Body. Body. Remember that the title element gives search engines extra information about the page. It also tells the browsers what text to display in the title bar when the page is open and on the tab for the pages. Within the head element, nest a title element with the text colored markers. Title. All good?
Yeah.
You need the title, colored markers.
How did you put title?
No.
I didn't read,
Okay.
I didn't read full paragraph.
To tell the browser how to encode characters on your page, set the character set to UTF-8. I think that is a meta tag, right?
Yeah, meta tag. So,
meta tag char set equal to UTF-8. Okay. Inside the head element, doc type meta.
is it class? UTF.
No, character set. CHARSET.
Char set.
Yeah, like this.
Equals
UTF-8.
UTF-8.
Yeah, so that's what the second paragraph is. Inside the head element, nest a meta element with the attribute char set set to UTF-8. Remember that meta tags are self-closing and do not need a closing tag.
Yeah.
All good. Finally, use a viewport meta tag to make sure that your page looks the same on all devices. Nest a self-closing meta tag within the head. You need a meta tag that closes. Give it the name attribute. Give it name equal to viewport, and content attribute equal to content equal to width equal to device dash width, comma initial dash scale equal to 1.0.
No, it's not working. Attribute, yeah? Sets, attribute sets. Name to viewport.
That's correct.
Okay.
There's a space between width equals device dash width and initial scale. There's a space. Try now.
This is important, the space.
It's not important to the browser, but in that test it is looking for that phrase, right? That you have entered it like that. That's what the test is looking for. Okay. Now you are ready to start adding content to the page. Within the body, nest a h1 element with the text color CSS markers. h1, close the h1, and this one should be CSS color markers. Done?
Yeah.
In this project, you will work with an external CSS file to style the pages. We have already created a styles.css. The file is there here. Okay. But before you can use it, you'll have to link it to a page. Next, the link element within the head. We need a link.
Link is self-closing, yeah?
I think so. Right. Give it the rel. Rel is relationship. Right.
Yeah.
rel equal to style sheet, and type equal to text slash CSS, and href equal to styles dot CSS. All good?
I think.
Right, so as of now we have just set up the HTML part.
Yeah.
Right, add a new CSS. We are on the styles file. Okay.
Yeah.
Now that your external CSS file is set up, you can start styling the page. As a reminder, here's how to target a paragraph element and align it to the right. P is the tag, the paragraph tag, open and close brackets, and then you have text dash align, text align to the right. Create a new CSS rule that targets the h1 element and sets its text align property to center. h1 open close brackets, text dash align equal to center, and all good?
Yeah. So why are we doing this one in HTML? Why we don't do it in CSS?
We are going to get there, right?
Yeah, we did already in CSS, sorry.
Okay. Your h1 rule should have a text dash align property set to CNTER. It's correct, right?
Bro, why are you putting two brackets? Two quotes. You don't need a quote.
You don't need a quote?
No.
Are you sure?
That's it. Yeah.
Crazy.
You need a quote in HTML.
Okay. Now you'll add some elements that you'll eventually style into color markers. First, within the body, add a div element. Adding a div. Closing a div.
Below H1 or?
Yeah, I think below only. Add a div element and sets its class attributes to a container. Make sure that the div element is below the h1 element. All good. Next, within the div, add another div element and give it a class of marker. Just duplicate this stuff down and make it change it to marker. You should nest your new div element within the div element container. Okay, this has to go inside. You got it?
Yeah, should I add another div?
Yeah, the div should go inside, yes. This div should have class marker.
Div class mark. لا قوة إلا بالله.
It's time to add some color to the page. Remember that one way to add color to an element is use the color keyword like black, cyan or yellow. As a reminder, here's how to target the class freeCodeCamp. Create a new CSS rule to target the marker class, dot marker, and set its background color property to red. Background dash color colon red. No, the property.
Sorry?
The property should be
Background color.
Yeah. Probably reload the page. No, reload the page side. Notice that your marker doesn't seem to have any color. The background color was actually applied, but since the marker div element is empty, it does not have any width or height by default. So basically, see on the HTML file, we don't have any this one here, right? This is just a div.
Yeah.
There's no content in it.
Yeah.
So even though the div is somewhere here, there's no content on it, so there is no background to be seen, right? In your marker, in your dot marker CSS rule, set the width property to 200 pixels and the height property to 25 pixels. Width 200 pixels, height 25 pixels. Right?
Yeah.
Your marker would look better if it was centered on the page. An easy way to do that is with the margin shorthand property. So what do you think? How do you think we should center it?
What is that?
We have to make this red square come to the center. So how would you want to do it?
I think margin left auto, margin right auto.
Okay. In the last project, you set the margin area of the element separately with properties like margin left and margin top and margin left. The margin shorthand property, remember we talked about shorthands. We can write either 4 of them, top, right, bottom, left.
Top, right, bottom, left.
Yeah, or if you write 3, or you can write 2, or you can write 1 and whatnot, right? So here they're talking about that. The margin shorthand property makes it easy to set multiple margin areas at the same time. To center your marker on the top of the page, set its margin property to auto. This sets margin top, right, bottom and left all to auto.
I just have to add margin,
Yeah. Now that you've got one marker centered with the color, it's time to add the other markers. In the container div, in this div, Add 2 more div elements and give them each a class of marker. 2 more divs. Duplicate this down.
Which line you have to duplicate?
The marker class.
Only this one?
No, first you read the question in the container div.
This container.
Yeah, in the container div, in that container.
Okay.
Right, add 2 more div elements.
Okay.
Right, so you need to duplicate the marker div.
Okay.
Okay.
What's going on with this?
You can do Shift Alt and down.
Sorry?
Shift Alt down to duplicate a line or a selection.
Okay. Shift.
Alt.
Oh yeah. What should I put the name of the class?
Same, marker.
Okay.
We're making 3 markers.
Okay.
Okay. But each marker should have its own class, its own color, right?
Yeah.
You want a red marker, blue marker, black marker, whatever.
Yeah.
Right? So we will see. Now that all markers, what is common for all markers? Right? All of them have a thickness, a height, and a cap or whatnot, right?
Yeah.
So what if you could make a class for a marker which has its shape and whatnot, right? And put the class for the 3 markers.
Mm-hmm.
And imagine this marker is of no color.
Yeah.
Right? It just has shape and a cap and whatnot.
Yeah.
Then I say red. So it gets the shape and all properties of that, and with red it gets the color red, say for example, right?
Yeah.
So a class and an ID. Okay, so they'll probably take that approach. While you have 3 separate markers div elements, they look like one big rectangle. You should add some space between them to make it easier to see each element. When the shorthand margin has 2 values, it sets the margin top and margin bottom as the first value.
Yeah.
And the margin left and the margin right to the second value. In your dot marker CSS rule, set the margin property to 10px and auto. So it will set 10 pixels at the top and bottom.
Yeah.
And auto to the sides. All good?
Yeah.
In school, you might have learned that red, yellow, blue are primary colors and learned how to create new colors by mixing these. However, this is an outdated model. These days, there are 2 main color models. The additive RGB model used in electronic devices and the subtractive CMYK models used in print. In this project, you will work with the RGB model. First, add class 1 to the first marker development. Wait, but before we go there, right, we will just look at what RGB and CMYK is.
Yeah.
RGB.
It's the mixture between red, green, and blue.
This is a screen.
Yeah.
Right? You see how each one of these is the alphabet that you see.
Yeah.
But if you zoom in, these are the 3 pixels which highlight to give it a
That shape.
white color.
Oh.
So if you come here and if you zoom in on this pixel, you have a phone. So let us say, for example, you take this camera, you come here. Can you zoom in? Can you see dots? Can you see dots here?
Oh, yeah. Small dots.
Right?
Sure.
That is exactly what each pixel is.
That's 1 pixel.
Yeah, each one of those RGB is 1 pixel. RGB is 1 pixel. Okay. So your desktop, basically everything that you see on your screen is this. This is RGB. This is a photo of what you see on the screen. So RGB colors are red, green and blue because the hardware of the monitor is made of red, green and blue pixels. Okay. But when you go to print something, right? Remember the printers that you get?
Yeah.
And these are the printer colors that you get, right?
Yeah.
Good. I just want images, right? So these are the 4 colors that you get,
Sure.
right? And this is what you put in a printer.
True.
Okay, so C, M, Y, and K are the 4 colors: cyan, magenta, yellow, and I don't know what K is. K is, I guess, black.
Yeah.
Right. So on every paper, you must have seen. In this corner, you must have noticed these shapes.
Sure.
Do you know what these are for?
No.
So these are 4 different cartridges, right? 4 different cartridges, and each cartridge prints separately, right? And all 4 of them, only if they align, it will print the proper color, right? So in this shape and whatnot you are seeing, right, red, green, blue, whatnot is there. So before you start printing, you basically take like a print of this to check whether all your cartridges are aligned.
Aligned or not.
And that is why every newspaper, every print thing in the corner, they'll have something right? That is for the person to check whether everything is aligned or whatnot, right? Okay. So these are the 4 colors that you get in your cartridge. So whenever you're designing a graphic, say for example, if you want to show it on social media or whatnot, then you'll probably export it using RGB colors. But if you want to take a print of it, you will take CMYK, because those are the colors available for print. Those are the colors available on the screen. Okay. So that is RGB and CMYK color space in general.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So anyway. So first we need to add the class 1 to the first marker. Marker is there, no? The first class.
Yeah.
We need to add 1 as an additional class.
Space 1, yeah?
Yeah. So any element can have multiple classes.
Yeah.
It can have only one ID, but it can have multiple classes. And the sum of all of those classes, the final rule that comes out is what will be printed.
Okay.
Okay.
No problem.
Next, remove the background color property and its value from the marker CSS rule. Remove the background color. Remove the property. Fine. Check. So now what did you do? What are you basically trying to do over here? Why are you removing that red?
Okay, next, remove the background color property and its value from the marker CSS rules. I don't know why he's removing the marker.
Now, along with marker, remember I told you with the marker we can probably get the shape and stuff like that, and then maybe we can give another class or another ID to give the colors.
Yeah.
Right? So now you gave the background red to see what the markers look like. Now you'll remove the colors and make separate classes for the colors 1, 2 and 3.
Okay.
Right, so what is common, you're keeping it in the class.
In the class.
What is unique, you're probably going to put it in an ID if you're going to use it only once.
One time.
Okay, if it is unique. Or you'll put it in another class so that it can be reused again. Then you'll combine those options so that you get a final set of options. Okay. Then create a new...
How many attributes are there for one...
How many can you give?
Yeah.
How many classes or how many attributes?
How many attributes for the one tag?
Oh, it depends from tag to tag.
No, so we have like ID, name, and...
That's it.
And
ID
class.
and class. That's
ID, class, name.
No. You're getting confused. Every HTML tag has its own set of attributes. For example, image has SRC. Image tag has SRC.
Yeah, except
source.
Image, yeah.
Okay. That source, you take it and put it in any other tag, it will not work.
No, yeah. That specifically works only with image.
Yeah.
But just
every HTML tag, every HTML tag supports classes and ID.
Classes and ID.
Yeah, this is the only two that is common for all HTML tags.
Okay.
Every other HTML tag has its own properties, which is supports and doesn't support.
Doesn't support. Oh, okay.
Same like how fig caption can have figure inside.
Yeah.
Right? If you put figure inside fig caption, something else happens. You get a border, etc., etc. Right? You use figure by itself, you just get the figure. Right?
No caption. Yeah.
So it depends on. Figure can exist on its own. right?
So
And
the attribute fake caption cannot work.
it's not an attribute, it's another tag, right? Fig caption is a tag,
Is a tag. Sorry.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. So every HTML attribute has classes and
ID.
has ID. Everyone.
Yeah.
Okay. Other tags may repeat, may not repeat. Depends from person, from tag to tag.
So sorry. Okay.
Okay.
18.
Then create a new CSS rule that targets the class 1. So we need .one1 and set its background color property to red.
Sorry, dot marker 1, yeah?
No, just 1.
1, okay.
Marker and 1 are two separate classes, right? You already have marker here. So in your HTML, you wrote marker space 1.
Yeah.
Right? So now whatever background color of 1 is there gets applied along with marker.
Okay.
Like that you'll have 2 or 3, right? 2 and 3 will have separate colors. So with marker class, the HTML file marker gives what? Marker gives only this width, height and margin.
Yeah.
That is all marker gives.
So if you put class and you give it two, like in that class, you give two name with the space between them. So it means
Yeah, these are two
classes.
separate classes.
Okay.
You can have unlimited number of classes, but you can have only one ID.
One ID for each one. Okay. ID has only one
Yeah.
word or one.
Yeah,
Okay.
one.
But class
Unlimited.
unlimited.
Yeah.
Just keep space between them.
Yeah.
We didn't have this one in HTML.
Yeah, so you learn something new.
Okay. I
Right.
thought marker 1 is all one.
No,
class
it's
name.
not. There are two separate classes.
Two
Marker
separate
and then one.
One. Oh.
Okay. So think of
Okay. What?
this element will first get all properties of marker. Below that it will get properties of 1.
If you open.
So if you add 4 or 5 of them, it will put it in that order.
Okay. Can you open just HTML? Okay.
Yeah, I'll just finish this.
Yeah, go.
Background color red. Yeah, what HTML do you want to see? Just the HTML.
Yeah, for that one, if you put like the div class marker.
Yeah.
And close the quote and put another space.
Yeah.
And class and put 1.
It will work. But it probably reduces all of them to a single one. No, I don't think. It probably takes only one of these. Yeah. So if I take this marker. Nope. Probably takes only one.
Only one class, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
1 minute. So for this. Okay. So this one's background color is green.
For which
for
class?
Marker.
For marker, yeah.
Okay. For 1 it is red. Okay. So now how many do you see?
2 only.
Okay, so for this you see background color is red. Which is the second class.
Second class.
Okay. Now if we change places, it becomes green.
Okay.
Did you understand what happened?
No.
It first applied class of marker.
And it applies the rules of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Then it applies the class of 1.
Okay.
What was class of marker? What did marker do? Marker, so this is marker and this is marker, right? The second and third are marker, right?
Yeah.
This is marker and this is marker.
Yeah.
What was marker? Width, height, margin.
Yeah.
Okay. And this background color.
Sure.
Okay.
So
now,
markers.
yeah, for all markers. So right now what is applicable here?
For all of them.
Marker.
Yeah.
Okay. What is the background color of 1?
Yeah.
So right now this one, if it is small and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
If it is small, that means the rules of marker are applicable.
Yeah.
If the rules of 1 are applicable, then it should forget all of this width, height, margin. It should only be red. Right.
Yes.
That means it is overwriting marker.
So it's
Okay.
overrated.
So now if I go to index and from class marker and class 1,
Yeah.
If I put class 1 before class marker,
Now it changed. Yeah.
only class marker is applicable, which is background color red.
Right.
All of this stuff is not applicable. What does that mean? That means that this is not applied at all. This is ignored. The last class marker will be there. So now if I take this and if I make a duplicate here, what happened?
Didn't change anything.
Didn't change anything. Yeah, it disappeared. It was, what was marker? What was 1? 1 was this, right?
Yeah.
So Control X. Now marker is applicable, which should be, hi, can you please reload? Now marker is applicable. I don't know what is happening. I don't know why this is not working. But either way, it's only one class that is supported, and whatever is the last, if you have multiple classes, only the last place wherever you add will work. So we can undo all of this to have marker and then 1.
Yeah.
Just have to reload this page. What were we doing?
Yeah.
Create a new class that targets 1 and set its background property to red. Done. Okay. Add, this is 19, right? Or did you finish 19?
No, I'm at 19.
You're in 19. Add the class 2 to the second marker. 2 and 3. Done. Submit. Create a CSS rule that targets the class 2 and sets its background property color to green. Two, 3. Green, blue. Done? You done?
What is class selector? Is it point? Is it right or no?
That is correct, but read the task carefully. What is the second part? What is also? What is the second paragraph?
Also create a separate CSS rule that will target the class 3.
We have about 5 minutes left, Syed.
No. What about blue?
Okay, next one.
Yeah.
Okay. Earlier you learned that the RGB model is additive. This means that colors begin as black and change to different levels of green and blue as introduced. So if you look at RGB color picker, so what they're talking about is this.
Yeah.
You've seen this, right?
Yeah.
It always starts at black,
Yeah.
white,
Yeah.
max color,
Yeah.
minimum color. Right? Max color, whatever your shade is. Okay?
Yeah.
So in that, so here you see this RGB.
Yeah.
So this is R value. So R can go to max 255.
Yeah.
00. Whatever. So obviously here it is 19 whatnot. It goes from 0 to 255. Similarly, each color, now as you see this, you look at the RGB values, how they change.
They change, yeah.
Right? Now we are at max green. Now we are at max blue.
Okay.
Okay. So depending on the variation of RGB, RG and B, we get all the different possible shades.
Shade.
Right? Earlier you learned that RGB blah blah blah. An easy way to do this is with the CSS RGB function. Create a new CSS rule that targets the class container. Dot container. Okay, and set its background color ROUND dash background color to RGB 0 0 0.
So RGB 00, it's mean black.
Yeah. Red is 0, green is 0, blue is 0.
0. Oh,
Okay. A function is a piece of code that can take an input and perform a specific action. The CSS RGB function accepts values or arguments for red, green and blue and produces a color. Each red, green and blue value is a number from 0 to 255. 0 means there is 0% of that color and is black. 255 means there is 100% of that color. In the .1 CSS rule, replace the keyword red with RGB function. For the RGB function, set the value 25500. RGB, open and close bracket, 25500. Notice that the background color for your marker is still red. This is because you set the red value of the RGB function to the max 255 or 100% red and set both the green and blue values to 0. Now use the RGB function to set the other colors. In the .2 CSS value, set what will you set, Syed? RGB, right? So red 0, green 255,
yeah.
blue 0. And in 3 RGB 0
0 0.
0 255. Okay.
Yeah.
In the 2 CSS rule, use the RGB function to set the background color to the max value for green and 0 for the other values. And in the .3 rule, in the CSS, in the 3 class rule, set the RGB function to background color to max value of blue and 0 for other values. All good? While the red and blue markers look the same, the green one is much lighter than it was before. That is because the green color keyword is actually a darker shade, and this is about halfway between black and the max of green, max value for green. In the 2 CSS rule, set the green value of the RGB function to 127. Set the green, instead of 255, we set it to 127. Okay. So you see how changing each one of these values is giving one of those difference. Okay, so we have finished our 40-minute timer. Okay. All good?
Mm-hmm. What time did you wake up today?
Yeah, but I just mute the mic at that time when we're chilling. No? Anyway.
So 25. Some water?
No, I'm good. I have it.
Okay.
Now add little more vertical space between your markers. Vertical space between your markers and the edge of the container. So we have container from here to here, right? Black.
Yeah.
We want space on top as well as on bottom. Right. So what do you want to do?
Why mine is not black?
Why is yours not black? Reload page.
Yeah, it's not black. Check yours. Reload it.
You have one dot container. You have.
One dot.
There's a typing error there.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the container CSS rule, use the shorthand padding property to add. We need padding, right?
Padding.
So, like as we were talking about which element you want to deal with, right? So obviously you can either add spacing extra for the red one above or the blue one below, or do that kind of circus, or you add padding for the black one.
Padding for the black one, yeah. Okay.
Right. So right now the container is from here to here, right? And because padding is 0, margin is 0, and border is 0, it is touching the edge.
Yeah.
If you add padding, this will grow out more. Right. So now we need to add padding for
10 pixels, yeah.
Yeah. Padding colon 10 pixel at top and bottom. 10 pixel and then left and right to 0. 2 values. In the additive RGB model, primary colors are colors that when combined create pure white. But for this to happen, each color needs to be at its highest intensity. Before you combine colors, set your green marker back to pure green. Set this back to 255. Okay.
Yeah.
Set the green back to max of 255. Done. Next. Now that you have the primary RGB colors, it's time to combine them. For the RGB function in the dot container, in the container class rule, set the red, green and blue values to the max of 255.
255.
It will be white. Right, it is fully white now.
Yeah.
Next. Secondary colors are the colors you get when you combine primary colors. You might have noticed some secondary colors in the last step as you change red, green and blue values. To create the first secondary color yellow, update the RGB function of the one class to combine pure red and pure green values. R is 255 and full green 255.
255, yeah.
And that makes yellow.
Yeah.
Right? So for an RGB thing, this is what it looks like. These.
So
red and green gives yellow. red and blue gives magenta.
Okay.
Green and blue gives cyan,
Yeah.
which gives us the colors we require for C, M, Y,
Cow.
whatever, black. Right?
It's not white.
So the print combination of cyan is green plus blue on RGB.
On RGB.
Right.
Okay.
So you can get a CMYK number and convert it to RGB, or convert RGB to CMYK number. Right? It should be the equivalent of whatnot. RGB. And this is real life RGB, dude. This is a red light, white light, green light and blue light. Where they all combine, you get white. So this is like real RGB in real life types, right? Anyway. So we did this. Check your code.
Yeah.
Go.
C9.
To create the next secondary color cyan, update the RGB function in the to function. RGB CSS pure green and pure blue.
Pure green.
Green and blue. We got cyan. Alright, and to create magenta, make blue and red. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now that you're familiar with secondary colors, oh, this is 31. Do you want to continue or you want to stop?
I think we stop.
Okay, all good.
Stop here.
I'll stop the stream as well then.